After much anticipation, the 2020 season finally got underway at Brands Hatch for the Sports Prototype Cup, featuring the Revolution Trophy. With LMP-inspired technology, sleek aerodynamics, high downforce and an impressive 440 brake horsepower per tonne, the Revolution A1 is a two-seater sports prototype with a fast-growing reputation. In his first weekend driving the car, Scott Mansell claimed pole position, averaging almost 95 miles an hour around the short Indy circuit.
Really good car, really nice, it's quick but it's friendly to drive on the limit, lots of power and lots of torque, so it's really good driving them around Brands Hatch today.
Joining him on the front row of the grid would be Alex Capadia, the experienced international GT and sports car racer, setting the second fastest time in qualifying, albeit just 17 thousandths of a second quicker than Danish racer Morten Dons, who completed the top three. The first of the day's two 30-minute races got underway, with the front row men running absolutely neck and neck into Paddock Hill Bend. Mansell just about fending off Capadia, while Bradley Ellis squeezed past Dons for third as they climbed Hellwoods Hill for the first time. During the opening laps, Mansell and Capadia began to ease clear, while Dons had quickly reclaimed third position from Ellis, the former British GT champion, having only sat in the car for the first time during qualifying. Having started from last on the grid, Nigel Greenstall had been charging through the order in his orange and blue Revolution. He'd met his match though in James Abbott, and it was only after 11 laps of trying that Greenstall was finally able to find a way through, this move putting him up to a hard-earned 5th place. There had also been a change at the head of the pack, with Capadia grabbing the lead at mid-distance. He then spent the remainder of the race with Mansell in his mirrors, but was able to hold on to take the first victory of the season by just under half a second.
The team, Mike Smith Motorsport and Breaker Racing, did such a good job with the car. The car feels absolutely perfect, really, really well balanced. And it's an opportunity to race what is an amazing car, the Revolution, on great circuits with some really, really good competition. If you look at the guys out there today, there's sort of 6 or 7 guys who could have won this race, and it's really, really close.
Meanwhile, Morten Dons claimed the final spot on the podium.
It was good fun. It was quite exciting to do the first race of the year, so didn't really know what to expect. But obviously the level of drivers on the grid was quite high, so you knew everybody was going for it.
And Nigel Greenstall had clearly enjoyed his eye-catching drive through the field.
I was just really patient to the early laps just to see what car I'd got, what did it feel like? And the balance of it was nice, and it was really enjoyable to drive. And what we've noticed is the build quality is superb. You get a real great sound with the engine. The engine sort of sounds and feels sort of powerful and urgent, so you feel like you're in a real race car.
An excellent opening victory for Alex Capadia then. But with the grid for race 2 based on each driver's second fastest lap time from qualifying, he'd have to try and find a way past Mansell again to repeat that success. Off the line though, both had to work hard to fend off a fast-starting Bradley Ellis as they ran 3 abreast into Paddock Hill. Dons though didn't want to get left behind, and with a better run up Hellwoods, the Dane was able to squeeze back up the inside of Ellis and reclaimed 3rd place as they arrived at Druids. With Mansell and Capadia still fighting for the lead on the exit to the hairpin, he then went on to attack for 2nd place going into Graham Hill Bend. Brave stuff, but despite his best attempts, it didn't quite pay off. So it remained Mansell in the lead, followed by Capadia in 2nd, Dons in 3rd, Ellis 4th and Abbott 5th. Just behind, the next group was being led by John Corbett, who had swapped cars with teammate Nigel Greenstall for the second encounter. A delayed start this time meant that Greenstall, now in the blue and yellow Revolution, not only had to come from last place, but he also had to come from a lap down. Undeterred, he began to go on the attack again, with this move on Dominic Dierks, eventually climbing to 7th place at the race finish. For the lead, Mansell was having to work overtime to keep Capadia at bay. And when the pair came up to traffic at McLaren, Capadia sensed that this would be his opportunity to close the gap and mount a real challenge for the race lead. Having got a slightly better run through clearways, the number 80 Revolution now began to pick up a tow from the lead car as they approached Paddock Hill Bend, and when the door opened up, he went for the move. But Mansell was late on the brakes and kept his advantage. There was, though, a change for 3rd, as Ellis dived down the inside of Dons at Graham Hill Bend. Dons would later have a brief excursion at the same corner, and with Capadia also spinning out of contention, Ellis would be promoted to 2nd. with James Abbott climbing from 5th to 3rd. Dons recovered to finish 4th, with Corbett rounding out the top 5. Despite Capadia's exit from the race, Mansell still had work to do in the closing stages, as Ellis closed to within a few tenths of a second. Scott Mansell, though, was able to fend him off to take his first win of the season.
Lots of pressure all the way through there from Alex. I think he had a bit of an incident halfway through the race. Then it was about controlling it from there on. Then, yeah, really great weekend.
And Bradley Ellis gave us his post-race thoughts on the Revolution A1.
It's got such good potential. You know, for a gent to jump in, like a gentleman driver, it would be super easy to get on the pace. But then when like a professional driver gets in it, you know, they feel like they can hustle it and wrestle it around and still have fun.
Meanwhile, James Abbott claimed his first podium of the season.
Bit of a lonely race for me, really, just keeping it on the track, and fortunately a couple of other faux pas with the other cars and I've lucked into a P3, so yeah, really happy.
The final presentation of the weekend was the Brm Award for the fastest lap, which went to race 1 winner Alex Capadia. With Revolution cars locking out the first 7 positions in race 1 and the top 5 in race 2, it had been a hugely successful first weekend of competition.